answer. Life moves, and so should we. With this creative thought, we have created a number of educational videos for you all to benefit. Today, I, Priyanka Thakur from Mount Carmel School, is going to teach you a poem from grade 7, Indian Weavers. Let us wise up about the poetess first, Sarojini Naidu. She is also known as Sarojini Chattopadhyay, born on February 13, 1879 in Hyderabad and died on March 2, 1949 in Lucknow. She was a renowned political activist, feminist, poet and the first Indian woman to be the President of Indian National Congress and to be appointed as the Indian State Governor. A renowned orator and accomplished poet she was. She was at times called as the moniker, the Nightingale of India. As a prodigious child, Sarojini Naidu, right at the age of 12 years, she had created her first poem. Isn't it too early? At the age of just 12 years, she has created a poem. And later, she had also written a play, Maher Munir, which had incredibly inspired the Nizam of India. She was awarded for a scholarship to study abroad. Her collection of poems earned her literary acclaim. In 1905, she published her first book, a collection of poems, under the title Golden Threshold. Later, she also published two other collections, The Bird of Time and The Broken Wings, both of which attracted huge readership both in India and in England. Apart from the poetry, she also had penned down a number of articles and essays like Words of Freedom on her political beliefs and social issues like women empowerment. In this poem, it's a very small, short poem of 12 lines, which is divided into 3 stanzas of 4 lines, which is simple words used by Sarojini Naidu, but it had a greater meaning in it. Weavers weaving at the break of day, why do you weave a garment so gay? Blue was the wing of a halcyon wild, we weave the robes of a newborn child. Weavers weaving at the fall of night, why do you weave a garment so bright? Like the plumes of a peacock, purple and green, we weave the marriage veils of a queen. Weavers weaving solemn and still, what do you weave in the moonlight chill? White as a feather and white as a cloud, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. This is an Indian weaver is a lyric. A lyric means a small poem that expresses deep personal feeling in a way in the form of a song. It's 3 stanzas of 4 lines each. It is included in the folk song, the sections of Golden Threshold. In each stanza, the first 2 lines are a question put forth by the poetess asking the weavers, and the latter 2 lines are about answering. The weavers are answering the question asked by the poetess. Weaving is one of the most important of the folk vocation of India, and the weavers are important folk characters. Sarojini Naidu has skillfully retained the simplicity and the light music of a folk song, even though the lyric has a symbolic significance and a rich texture having layers of meaning, layers within layers within layers of meaning. In these 12 lines, the poetess has provided a symbolic representation of a man's journey, right from the birth till the death. The weavers are termed as the faith writers in the Greek mythology, weaving the web of life. Or we can also say in India, the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Who creates the life, who regenerates the life for us, for the human beings, and then finally attains to the death itself. This process of creation is an endless one, like the weaving of the weavers right from the morning till the night. The poetess observes some weavers weaving a bright, beautiful cloth at the break of the day and asks them, why are they weaving such a beautiful and a gay colored cloth? The weavers reply, they are weaving it as a dress for a newly born child. That is why the cloth that they weave is of a bright blue color. The day of the break symbolizes a new life, the new life which comes and exists on this earth. And the bright blue color symbolizes innocence, loyalty, purity. So, the day at the break of the day, the weavers weave a cloth which is bright blue in color, which also represents the bright, shiny feathers of a kingfisher. Halcyon is also the name of a kingfisher. The dawn of the break symbolizes the beginning of life, the birth of a new life, and a blue symbolizes depth of an ocean out of which blooms the white lotus, the white swan, which emerges out of that ocean. And it's related to the newborn into this world. Hence it is the fitness of the things, the garment woven for him should be blue in color, grey, gay and bright. In the second stanza, the poetess, the weavers are weaving the cloth, a multicolored cloth at the nightfall. So Sarojini Naidu asks the weavers, why are they weaving such a brightly colored cloth? And asks them whom they are weaving a cloth of such variegated colors. The weavers tell her that they are weaving a cloth of purple and green color, magnificent and colorful like the feathers of a peacock and the bridal dress of a queen. The plumes of the peacock represents the multicolored splendor of life and its perennial rhythm, the dance of being. The colorful garment designed to be the marriage veil of a queen. It is colorful, it is multicolored because after a married life, a person faces all the ups and downs in his life. The person experiences joy as well as sorrow in a person's life. So the dress, the marriage veil is multicolored. This symbolizes the marriage of a heaven and earth, the sacred union of being and becoming, the glory, the mystery and the joy of life are all stressed as the expression of joy. In the last stanza, in the cold moonlight, the poetess finds the weavers still, very quiet, silent, peaceful. They are now in a mysterious mood. They are now weaving a cloth which is white in color, white as the feathers of a bird, white as a cloud. And to the question of the poetess, they reply briefly that they are weaving it for a funeral shroud of a dead man. The chill of the moonlight is symbolic of death, and it is the befitting the shroud should be of white color. For white is the symbol of purity, of unity and possibility. Death means a reunion with the eternal and possibility of regeneration. Thus, in this admirable lyric, the poetess had traced human life through the three most important stages, that is, passes birth, marriage and death. The texture is symbolic, and yet poetess has succeeded in retaining the simplicity of the folk song. We are made to realize in this poem that the web of our life of a mingled yarn, grave and gay together. The first stanza, weavers weaving at the break of day. Why do you weave a garment so gay? Blue as the wing of a halcyon vine, we weave the robes of a newborn child. In the first stanza, the poet asks the weavers, why are they weaving a cloth early in the morning, which seems to be quite beautiful and charming? The clothes are blue as the wing of a halcyon bird. Halcyon is the other name for kingfisher. The wing of the kingfisher are bright blue in color. In addition, blue color also symbolizes loyalty. The blue color thus symbolizes something beautiful and precious. Hence, in this stanza, the clothes weaved by the weavers are quite special, and this is why the poet is curious to know about it. The Indian weavers reply, we weave the robes of a newborn child. They are weaving the beautiful dress of a young one who has just came to this world. In this stanza, a number of images are used to describe the first stage of a human life. Break of the day, garments so gay, blue as the wing of a halcyon vine. This stage is full of happiness, freshness, hope, beauty. There is no sorrow in this stage. In stanza second, weavers weaving at fall of night. Why do you weave a garment so bright? Like the plumes of peacock, purple and green, we weave the marriage veils of a queen. In the second stanza, the poet again meets the Indian weavers. This time during the fall of night. It probably refers to the evening or the dusk time when the sun sets and the darkness paves the way. Moreover, it is also the time during most of the Indian marriages takes place at that time. We go for receptions, we enjoy the marriage time. So this is the time of the fall of night where the Indian marriages are conducted. The poet questions the weavers, why are they weaving the garment so bright? The garment is shaded into the colors of the peacock feathers. They are plumes of a peacock, that they have purple and green color. The garment at this time is bright and full of colors like feathers of a peacock, unlike the one color plain blue in the first stanza, which represented a newborn child. Here in this, during the morning time, it was only plain blue, and now that is multicolored. It has various colors like purple and green color, which represents the multicolor, the ups and downs of a marriage life. The weavers reply that they weave the marriage veil of a queen, thus referring to the second, or in the other word, the adult age of the life. During this stage, humans are quite active. They love each other, get married, quest for a better and a prosperous life. They suffer, they had joys and sorrows both together at the same time. The color purple and green symbolizes sorrow and happiness, or struggle and ease in one's adult stage. And these all colors or ups and downs of a life make the adulthood bright. In stanza 3, weavers weaving Solomon and still. What do you weave in the moonlight chill? White as a feather and white as a cloud, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. This is the final stanza. The poet finds the weavers very solemn and still. That is, they are quite sorrowful. They are quietly weaving the cloth. They do not talk, they do not converse, there is no happiness, no cheerfulness while they are weaving the cloth. There is a grief within, they are silent. They are weaving something weird in the moonlight chill. That is, in the dead of the night, which is white as feather, white as a cloud, which is colorless and lifeless. As the poet fails to figure out what it is and why they are sorrowful and silent, she asks them, what are they weaving, rather than why are they weaving? They reply that they are weaving shroud, cloth put on the dead body or for a dead person. Thus the third stanza and the final stage is a death, which is emotionless and lifeless, like a white cloud or a feather. In this way, the life which begins with joy, hope, etc. ends with sorrow and grief. Here, the poet sums up Indian weavers, sums up by the life of human being on earth in 3 main stages by using symbols like clothes and times of the day. The journey of life begins with one color blue, which means joy and happiness. It continues with the addition of a number of colors, green and purple, which means sorrow, also enters a person's life along with happiness. Life is more active in the second stage rather than the first stage. In the final stanza, all the colors vanish away and a single color white remains, which means emotions are connected with life, and when the person dies, emotion also dies. Now, we will deal with the poetic devices used in these lines. Weavers weaving at the break of the day. Here, the sound of W and W is repeated again and again. That comes up to alliteration. Alliteration is a figure of speech where a consonant sound gets repeated in the starting of each word. So, weavers weaving is alliteration. The second figure of speech is metaphor. Metaphor means a direct and indirect comparison without using the words like as and like. Here the birth, the childhood stage of a man is implicitly compared with the break of a day. Then, why do you weave a garment so grey? Here, the sound letter G and G is again repeated, which makes it into alliteration. The sound, the consonant sound, when it repeats, it comes up to alliteration. Blue as the wing of a halcyon violet. Here, the WW sound is repeated. Wing, W of the wing, and wild W is repeated. That again makes up to alliteration. Here, in the same line, we have simile as well. Simile means a direct comparison. So here the blue color of the falcon color, wings color is compared. So it is simile as well. The next fourth line, we weave the robes of a newborn child. Again alliteration. WW sound is repeated. We and we of and weave, that is repeated. So alliteration. The entire poem is full of alliteration and similes as a musical sound. To create a musical sound, the poetess has repeated alliteration again and again and simile for the comparison of the two things. So weavers weaving at the fall of night, again WW repeated, it is alliteration. At the same time, it is metaphor also. Metaphor means an indirect comparison. So here, the second stage is also compared by the fall of night. So when the sun sets, it is compared to that part. So that comes up to metaphor. Why do you weave a garment so bright? Again alliteration, WW sound is repeated. The next line is, like the plumes of a peacock, purple and green. Here, the like word is used. A direct comparison is made between the plumes of the peacock and the colors purple and green. So it becomes simile. Alliteration again, the sound of P is repeated. Plumes, P, peacock and purple. So it comes up to alliteration as well. The next line is, we weave the marriage veils of a queen. Again alliteration, WW sound is repeated. Then the next line, weavers weaving Solomon and still. Here we have two alliteration. The sound of WW is repeated as well as SS and Solomon and still is repeated again. So it becomes alliteration. The next line is, what do you weave in the moonlight chill? Again alliteration. WW sound is repeated. What? Weave is repeated. So it becomes alliteration. Metaphor also, because death, the old age, the third and the last stage of a man's life, is implicitly compared with the moonlight. So it becomes metaphor. Metaphor is an indirect comparison. A comparison is made between the death and the end of the day as well. Then the next line is, white as a feather and white as a cloud. It is simile because a comparison is made, direct comparison is made with the word as here. The garment is directly compared with a feather and a cloud. The color white is compared with the feather or the cloud. Then we have another line here. We weave a dead man's funeral shroud. The sound of the letter W is repeated. It makes it alliteration again. White as a feather and as a cloud, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. It is simile. The funeral shroud is directly compared with weather and a cloud. Here we end our poem. I hope you like it.